All right, it's about that time. All right, everyone please have a seat. Don't stand the entire time. First and foremost, I want to thank every single person for being here today on the happiest of days for these two. It's truly a pleasure. Not many of you know this, but when Marrena was younger, I actually taught her how to drive a manual transmission. She did not get the luxury of learning on a 10-year-old Nissan or a 10-year-old Toyota. She learned on my high-performance Genesis. She burned the clutch on that Genesis. And what she didn't see was the small tear in my eye. And needless to say, at this point, I think you know how to drive a manual transmission. I'm not sure if you know this, but when I first met Brad, when you first introduced me to him, the way that he looked at you, there was no one else around. He only looked at you. I was standing right behind him looking for a piece of pizza. He only looked at you. Now, it's no accident that each and every one of you are here today. Each of you were invited here because you represent someone important in Marrena and Brad's life. Now, I truly can't think of a better place than Estes Park for an occasion that I know is not only monumental for them to be wed, but for all of us who are lucky to be here and know them for this perfect pair. The most remarkable moment in life is when you meet the person that makes you feel invincible, the person who makes the world beautiful, magical, the person whom you share a bond so special that it transcends normal relationships and becomes something more pure and wonderful that you can't imagine spending another day in your life without them. For Marrena, that happened 6 years ago when she met Brad. I know how deeply these two care and love for one another. I feel privileged to be here today among all of you as witnesses for their lifetime commitment for love for one another. Dearly beloved and honored guests, we are gathered together to join Marrena and Brad in union and in marriage. This contract is not to be entered into lightly, but thoughtfully and seriously, and with a deep realization of its obligations and responsibilities. The bride and groom have prepared vows that they will now read for one another. Marrena.
Over the last 6 years, there have been many wonderful, beautiful, and silly moments, but I'm not sure I could choose just one to say that that's when I fell in love with you. The truth is, you have given me so many small moments to fall in love with you that before I knew it, I couldn't imagine life without you. It was forgetting to put on music during road trips because we talked the whole time. It was sitting next to you working on lesson plans for hours. It was listening to your piano playing fill our home. It was dancing in the kitchen with you. It was inviting Berkeley and Chester up onto the couch during thunderstorms so that they could be close to us. It was every Star Wars reference and every nerdy conversation. It was your unwavering confidence when you told me that you had hiked up Round Top before and to just follow your lead when that was completely untrue. It was and is the sparkle in your eye when you smile at me. It is every time you hold my hand. It is every time you make me laugh so hard my stomach hurts. But most importantly, it was all these things put together that helped me realize that I'm in love with you, and I feel the most at home when I'm with you. You are my best friend and my one true love. You have helped me learn how to love myself by loving all of me. I am much healthier and happier since I met you. You taught me there was no need to run away by showing me that I deserve to be loved by you. Thank you for always loving me, always holding on tight, and always believing in me. As your wife, I promise to love you with all my heart. I promise to support you and your passions. I promise to be patient with you, to grow with you, and to care for you. I promise to be respectful and honest so that I may be worthy of your love. I promise to always remind you of what a loyal friend, loving son, and amazing husband you are. I'm so proud of the person you have become and the person you will continue to be. I cannot wait to spend the rest of our lives together, building a future full of laughter and love. I am so glad our hearts found each other and we get to be home for the rest of our lives. You are truly my best friend, my soulmate, and the love of my life. I'm so excited to love you and be loved by you forever and always.
Love you too. Marrena, when I met you, I knew immediately you were a great match for me. You were a big nerd. You were beautiful. A sports fan. You loved working with kids, and you were willing to put up with me and my stubborn-ass dog. You checked a lot of boxes for me right out of the gate, and then as I got to know you over the course of our relationship, I realized you checked a lot of boxes that I didn't even know I had. Some of those were big things, like being there for me when Chester died. And some of them were smaller, like how upset you get when I bite into my ice cream and chew on it like God intended. Others were needs and wants I didn't even know I had. I was kind of lost as a person when I met you. I was starting to feel unhappy and unfulfilled a couple years after I graduated college. So I packed up my life and moved to Denver for a job I absolutely hated. I was taking a real gamble on this math tutoring gig I was doing on the side just to make ends meet. It was the first time I was truly out and on my own, with no friends or family nearby. So there was a lot of uncertainty in my life with no clear sense of direction. It was one of the hardest years of my life, but thankfully I worked with some amazing people that year. Then I decided to go all in on education and landed a job at Aurora Central High School, which is where I met you. And though I went through 2/3 of that truly hellish first year of teaching before I ever got to meet you, I finally did in February of 2017. As soon as we started talking, I knew there was something special about you. Over the course of falling in love with you, all of those questions of uncertainty were answered. Your kindness for our students and your passion for teaching reminded me of why I got into education in the first place. And you convinced me to stick with a job that I grew to love, and you gave me a sense of direction. You supported me. You encouraged me while I went back to school to become a better teacher. Each and every day you made me want to be a better person. And then one day during the stress-inducing lockdowns, I realized what I wanted more than anything was to marry you. And yes, I love how you somehow put up with my crap and my ADHD, but you truly had a monumental role in who I became as a person. And that was a big checkbox for me. I also never knew how it felt to be completely open and vulnerable with someone. That's something I either denied myself or the notion of it wasn't met receptively. And I still remember the first time I got overwhelmed with the stress and exhaustion of teaching and I cried in front of you. And in that moment, I was horrified. I couldn't believe I'd broken down like that and let myself be vulnerable. But instead of making me feel embarrassed or ashamed, you consoled me. You made me feel safe. You told me I was doing the best job I could possibly do, and you reminded me of why I was doing it and what made teaching enjoyable in the first place. And from then on, I knew I could trust you completely, and I never felt that level of support from anyone. You're always constantly thinking about me, and that was another big checkbox. I also love how easy you are to talk to. Our after-work de-stressing conversations that help both of us unwind from the day. I love how we can sit in our backyard for hours and the topics of conversation can cover anything from how we would fix education to what types of birds are singing in our neighborhood. And it still amazes me too that we can take a 7-hour car ride and not have to turn on the music because we just end up chatting with each other the whole way. I love how patient you are with me when I struggle to stay on topic and get to the point of literally any story I tell. You not only accept me for who I am, but you enjoy who I am. And I don't feel like I have to hide anything from you. And that deep connection is another big reason I love you. But there were also the little things that I love about you. I love how you laugh at my weirdness without it feeling like you're making fun of me. I love how excited you get when I pull a ball of lint out of my belly button after a long day at work. I love how mad you get when you've been sleeping on the couch for too long and I try to get you up to go to sleep. It's like waking a giant. I love our nerdy conversations about Star Wars and other sci-fi related things. I love how you not only tolerate my video game addiction, but you actually play with me. And I love kissing you every night before I go to sleep, regardless of whether you're awake or not. And my favorite part of any night is when I get to hold you close to me as we both drift off to sleep. And it was 6 years ago yesterday, under those breathtaking stars on the peak of Round Top, that I totally knew how to climb up to, that I said I loved you for the first time, and that love has only intensified, Marrena. You're beautiful, you're smart, you're kind and caring, you're passionate, and you're forgiving, you're supportive, and you're my best friend in the whole world. You bring out the best in me, and I promise I will spend the rest of my life trying to make you happy. I promise to be patient and supportive when times are tough. I promise to learn from my mistakes and strive to improve myself for you every day. I promise to love and cherish you until the day I die, your hand in mine. You make my world go round, sweetheart. I love you.
And now, Brad, do you take Marrena to be your wife? Do you promise to love, honor, cherish, and protect her, forsaking all others, and holding only unto her forevermore?
I do.
Right. And Marrena, do you take Brad to be your husband? Do you promise to love, honor, cherish, and protect him, forsaking all others, and holding only unto him forevermore?
I do.
Yes. Brad and Marrena will now exchange the rings as a symbol of love and commitment to each other. No pressure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rings are a precious metal, and they are also made precious by you wearing them. Your wedding rings, are special. They enhance who you are. They mark the beginning of your long journey together. Your wedding ring is a circle, a symbol of love never ending. It is the seal of your vows that you have taken to love each other without end. Brad, please place the ring on Marrena's finger and repeat after me. As a sign of my love,
As a sign of my love,
that I have chosen you
that I have chosen you
above all else.
above all else.
With this ring,
With this ring.
And Marrena, please place the ring on Brad's hand. There you go. Repeat after me. As a sign of my love,
As a sign of my love,
that I have chosen you
that I have chosen you
above all else.
above all else.
With this ring, I thee wed.
With this ring, I thee wed.
Now, aspens are unique trees amongst the earth about their connections. Aspens are not solitary trees that grow from an individual seed, but they sprout from a connected root system. From one seedling, there can be hundreds of aspen trees, all a part of the same family. As the trees multiply and connect to other families, they create the largest root system on the planet. This is not unlike our own families, with our own genealogy that shows how we branch out amongst our ancestors. Each generation remains connected to one left before it by carrying the traits and traditions of our parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents. Today, we carry that tradition of marriage. Like the trees Brad and Marrena are planting, marriage requires constant nourishing and nourishment. The sun, the soil, and water, these trees represent the encouragement and trust, love needed on a daily basis to nurture and nourish their relationship. Now, Brad and Marrena have vowed to support each other, share resources like the interconnected root structure of these aspens. If one tree is thirsty, another will share water with it through its root system. Marriage is like that. When one person is suffering and need, they can take comfort in knowing that they are cared for and loved by one another. And now, by the power vested in me, and the state of Colorado in the 19th Judiciary District, as well as the Universal Life Church Ministries, it is my honor and delight to declare you married. Go forth and live each day to the fullest. You may now seal this declaration with a kiss.